You've seen it in photos. A wall of steel, the length of 4 football fields, stacked 20 stories high with containers in every color you can imagine, gliding across an empty ocean. It's carrying your phone, your shoes, the coffee in your kitchen. Around 90% of everything you own crossed an ocean on a ship exactly like this one. Now here's the part that stops most people cold. That ship, the size of a skyscraper laid on its side, moving 200,000 tons of cargo across the planet, is being run by around 20 people. Not 200. Not 2,000. 20. Some of the largest vessels on Earth operate with a crew you could fit around a dinner table. And that's just the first strange thing. There are 3 layers to this story. The first is who's actually on board and what their life is really like. The second is the technology that makes a ship this size even possible, some of which sounds like it shouldn't work at all. And the third is something almost nobody outside the industry ever hears about. By the end of this video, you'll never look at a container ship the same way again. So let's start with the obvious question. How do you run something that massive with so few people? Most people picture a busy deck, dozens of sailors hauling ropes, shouting orders, the whole thing crawling with activity. The reality is the opposite. Walk the deck of a modern container ship at sea, and you'll often see no one at all. It's silent, empty, just endless rows of steel boxes and the wind. The entire crew, captain, officers, engineers, cooks, might be fewer than 25 souls on a vessel longer than the Empire State Building is tall. The reason is automation. Modern ships are built to run themselves for most of the voyage. The engine, the steering, the navigation, huge parts of it are monitored by computers, not hands. A handful of highly trained specialists supervise systems that would have required hundreds of men a century ago. But that small number creates a problem most people never consider. When there are only 20 of you, and you're in the middle of the Pacific, and something breaks, there is no one coming to help. The nearest other human being might be 1,000 miles away. You are, functionally, on another planet. And that changes everything about how these ships are run. Which brings us to the engines. Because to move something this heavy, you need power on a scale that's genuinely hard to imagine. Here's something most people don't know. The largest ship engines ever built stand taller than a 3-story house and weigh more than 2,000 tons. A single one of these engines produces over 100,000 horsepower. To put that in perspective, that's the combined output of roughly 1,000 family cars, all bolted into one machine, turning a single propeller. And that propeller? On the biggest vessels, it's taller than a 5-story building and weighs more than a fully loaded passenger jet. One turn of that blade pushes the entire ship forward. But the truly surprising part isn't the size, it's the fuel. These engines don't run on anything like the diesel in your car. They burn something called heavy fuel oil, and heavy is not an exaggeration. At room temperature, this stuff has the consistency of cold tar. You could almost walk on it. It's so thick that if you poured it into a normal engine, nothing would happen at all. It simply wouldn't flow. So how does the ship burn a fuel that's practically solid? It heats it. On board, the fuel is warmed to around 130 degrees Celsius before it can even move through the pipes, and heated further still before it reaches the engine. The entire fuel system is a network of heated lines keeping the tar liquid enough to burn. Shut that heat off, and the fuel would cool and clog the whole system solid. It's one of the reasons the engine on a long voyage almost never stops. Starting and stopping something that size isn't like turning a key. It's a slow, deliberate operation that can take a long time to do right. And that leads to a fact that genuinely surprises people the first time they hear it. A fully loaded container ship at cruising speed cannot stop quickly. Not even close. If the captain ordered a full emergency stop right now, the ship would keep moving forward for several kilometers before it finally came to rest. Several kilometers. That's the length of dozens of city blocks. And to turn? A large vessel needs over a mile of open water just to change course meaningfully. Think about what that means. The people steering these ships aren't reacting to what's in front of them. They're reacting to what will be in front of them 15 or 20 minutes from now. They have to see danger before it's even close, because by the time it's close, it's already too late to do anything about it. Momentum on this scale isn't a detail. It's the single most important thing every officer on the bridge is thinking about, every hour of every day. But the engineering, as wild as it is, isn't the part that stays with people. The part that stays with people is the human side. And that's where this story takes a turn most viewers don't expect. Picture your life for the next 9 months. You wake up in the same small cabin. You see the same 19 faces at every meal. The view out every window is water in all directions, and it doesn't change for days at a time. There are no weekends. There is no going home after work, because work and home are the same steel box. Some crews sign contracts that keep them at sea for 6, 9, sometimes 12 months without ever setting foot on land for more than a few hours. And here's the detail that surprises people most. For a long time, being at sea often meant being almost completely cut off. In the middle of the ocean, out of range of any cell tower, a sailor could go long stretches with painfully limited contact with the outside world. Connectivity has improved on many modern ships, but it's still nothing like the always-on life you're living right now. Imagine missing birthdays, holidays, entire seasons of your kids growing up, watching it all through a slow, flickering connection, if you can watch it at all. This is why the mental side of the job is taken so seriously. Isolation on this scale does something to people. The crews that thrive are the ones who build routine, who lean on each other, who find a rhythm in the sameness. It's a kind of endurance most of us will never be tested on, and the people who do it are moving the entire global economy while they do. Now, that third layer. The thing almost nobody hears about. Every year, thousands of shipping containers fall off ships and vanish into the ocean. Not a handful. Thousands. In rough weather, when a vessel rolls hard in a storm, the stacks of containers strapped to the deck can shift, snap their lashings, and tumble over the side. Whatever's inside, furniture, sneakers, electronics, car parts, goes straight to the bottom or floats away on the current. And some of those containers don't sink right away. A sealed box full of buoyant cargo can drift just below the surface for weeks, invisible, riding the waves. To a small boat, that's a floating steel wall it can't see coming. It's one of the quiet hazards of the open ocean that most people on land have never once thought about. But here's the part that flips it around. Even with all of that, shipping is still, by a wide margin, the most efficient way ever invented to move goods across the planet. A single large container ship can carry more cargo in one trip than thousands of trucks or a fleet of cargo planes, using a tiny fraction of the fuel per item. That phone in your hand traveled across an entire ocean, and its share of the fuel cost was almost nothing. The scale is so enormous that it becomes cheap precisely because it's enormous. So the next time you order something online and it shows up at your door, take a second to think about where it actually came from. Not the warehouse. The ocean. A steel giant taller than most buildings, burning tar it had to melt just to move, steered by 20 people who saw the danger 20 minutes early, who hadn't touched dry land in months, gliding silently across water in the dark while the rest of the world slept. That box on your porch crossed the planet to get to you, and almost nobody ever thinks about the journey. Now, I want to hear from you. If you've ever worked at sea, what's the one thing about ship life you wish more people understood? Drop it in the comments. I read every single one. And if you learned something today, hit that like button, subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one.